here we go. What is going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and the Minnesota Vikings just got a gift from the Arizona Cardinals as they are officially releasing quarterback Kyler Murray. Obviously, Kyler has been heavily linked to the Minnesota Vikings this entire offseason. A lot of people have a lot of different thoughts on Kyler being QB1 in Minnesota next season, but this was the first big domino of the fall because there was no chance that the Vikings were going to trade any draft capital for Kyler Murray. If he were going to be QB1 next season, it would have to be on a very cheap one-year contract, and the first domino was him being released by the Arizona Cardinals, and that just happened. So welcome in, everybody. I do want to say thank you so much, though, for 70,000 subscribers here on YouTube. I started working at Chat Sports about 3 years ago, fresh out of college, and when I took over the channel, we had about 2,000 subs. So the fact that we have grown this to over a community of 70,000 subscribers, I do really just want to say thank you guys so much. It is unbelievable the support we get here on the channel. Obviously, this past year covering the Vikings wasn't the best year, but it was still a ton of fun. And this offseason is going to be a blast, and we got a fun show to talk about today. So I do just want to say thank you guys so much for hitting that subscribe button. I know we asked you guys to do it a whole lot, but just really the support does go a long way here. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Do appreciate it, but let's talk about Kyler Murray now. So obviously, Kyler Murray, polarizing choice for the Minnesota Vikings, no doubt about it. I think a lot of people view Kyler Murray on paper, and they're like, all right, let's talk about the scheme fit with Kevin O'Connell. Let's talk about his injury history. And, when people bring up Kyler Murray, there is a lot of negative around his name. And I think if you look at the past and you look at his career with the Arizona Cardinals, no doubt you should be a little negative. The guy hasn't stayed healthy. He's been injured, I think, 4 out of the last 5 seasons, and there are also some big-time injuries as well. So, the injury concern is definitely up there. And also him not being the greatest leader. I hear you on that. I agree with you on that. His time in Arizona, if you're looking at who he's been as a quarterback, it's all right, he's been injured a lot, hasn't been the greatest leader. Question marks about his commitment to football. The fact that Arizona had to put a clause in his contract saying that he pretty much can't play video games past a certain time at night. All of those concerns are warranted. But also, I'm a big believer in Kevin O'Connell's favorite quote. This is what he said a couple off seasons ago, and everybody repeats it, and I think it's true with a guy like Kyler Murray, is that organizations fail quarterbacks more than quarterbacks fail organizations. I think that was the case going on with the Arizona Cardinals. Now, also a huge negative to Kyler joining the Minnesota Vikings. I'll get into some positives here in a second. The scheme fit. I hear you. On paper, Kyler Murray running a Kevin O'Connell offense does not make a ton of sense. Kevin O'Connell wants that prototypical statue, pocket passing, drop back passing type of quarterback, like the Jared Goffs, like the Kirk Cousins, like the Sam Darnolds, like the guys we have seen be successful in this system. But I would be banking on the talent of Kyler Murray and the genius of Kevin O'Connell figuring it out. Because what did we say about the Chicago Bears last year? And I said this, and I was completely dead wrong. I said, hey, the marriage of Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson doesn't really make too much sense. Ben Johnson just had a ton of success with the pocket guy, with the with the quick processor in a Jared Goff. Do you think he could have success with a guy like Caleb Williams who struggles with that type of play? But Caleb gives him that backyard football play where it's when Ben Johnson's play does fail and it breaks down, Caleb can scamper around and make a play. I would bank on the Vikings being able to do the same exact thing with Kyler Murray. And why I'm high on Kyler Murray compared to a guy like Geno Smith or a guy like Kirk Cousins or Mac Jones, because I think the floor for this Vikings team is incredibly high. I think with the infrastructure they have, specifically the defense, them pretty much you can pencil them in to being a top five defense for next season. I just think that raises your floor. Also with the weapons offensively, with I would hope a revamped and improved offensive line heading into the next season. The floor for this team is 8 wins. I would want to take a chance on a quarterback who could get us to that ceiling of the 13, of the 14 wins. And I don't think a guy like Geno Smith or a guy like Kirk Cousins can get us there. Now, yes, with Kirk and Geno, would we win 9, 10, possibly even 11 games? Absolutely. Could we win a playoff game if all goes right? I think we could. However, there is no chance in hell you are finding yourself in the NFC title game with either of those guys at quarterback. If you told me with Kyler Murray, and I fully believe this, that the Vikings are in the NFC title game next season, I would say, yeah, that's a possibility. Because I would be banking on the natural talent that Kyler Murray has. This guy was a Heisman Trophy winner, top 10 pick in the MLB draft, top pick in the NFL draft, 2-time Pro Bowler, and he was successful in a bad organization like Arizona. The Cardinals' last couple of seasons have been bad. And you want to know what the Cardinals' record is in their last 30 games without Kyler Murray? They're 5-25. They have 5 wins in their last 30 games without Kyler Murray. That should tell you the infrastructure Kyler has in Arizona, and also the number one take I have on Kyler Murray, and the one I'd be able to be willing to bet every cent of my bank account that this is true, is that the best version of Kyler Murray that we will see in his entire NFL career so far will be next year with the Minnesota Vikings if he joins them. When you have a guy like Jefferson, where he had a great connection with DeAndre Hopkins back in the day, so I understand the connection with Marvin Harrison hasn't been great, but he can get that connection back going with Justin Jefferson. I got full faith in that. You have a guy like Addison. I still think you have a top 15 offensive mind in Kevin O'Connell. Offensively, the version we would see of Kyler Murray would be the best of his NFL career. I think by far, just because of the infrastructure we have in Minnesota, and also the cherry on top for this whole Kyler Murray Minnesota Vikings rumor that's out there right now, is that Kyler grew up a Minnesota Vikings fan. To say that doesn't matter, I think that would be naive. Kyler's still 28 years old. He probably still has photos of him wearing Vikings jersey when he was younger. Like, that would be a huge full circle moment for him if he would go join the football team, or also his childhood team was the Minnesota Vikings as well. I think it would be a really cool moment for Kyler Murray, and I would be taking a chance on the upside. Geno Smith, if the Vikings go with Geno Smith or over Kyler Murray, I would lose my mind. And also, if they go with Geno Smith, then I think that's also telling kind of Vikings fans where it's like, hey, maybe we believe in J.J. McCarthy a little more, because I don't think they go sign a Geno Smith assuming he's going to be the 17-game starter. A Geno Smith play is like, all right, we're going to have a quarterback battle and let the best man win. But even if Geno, if he goes out there, plays the first 4 games, Vikes are 1-3, I think they'll quickly turn it back over to J.J. McCarthy, where Kyler Murray, on the other hand, I think you ride it out with him. And the one question mark I do have on Kyler and the Vikings, and I don't know if this will ever be reported, I don't know if we'll ever get any insight on this, is do the Vikings, when they are approaching Kyler Murray this offseason, do they pitch to him that, 1, you're going to be the starting quarterback for all 17 games, or 2, you are going to be in a quarterback battle with J.J. McCarthy, and also would that kind of throw Kyler Murray off or maybe turn Kyler off of joining the Vikings if they come to him and say, hey, we want you to be in a quarterback battle with J.J. McCarthy, or J.J. McCarthy's stock is at an all-time low. People view him as almost the joke of the NFL right now. Would Kyler Murray, a former Heisman Trophy winner, a former number 1 overall pick, be willing to get in that quarterback battle? That's a question mark that the Vikings are going to have to address before they approach Kyler Murray. But if the Vikings come out and we get the report they're signing him, and then a week later Kevin O'Connell says, yeah, this is going to be our QB1 for next season. Like, you don't bring in a guy like Kyler Murray without guaranteeing him the starting quarterback spot, I would have full faith in the Vikings. I really would. I think this is my guy. There's too much buzz here. And also, when it comes to Kyler Murray versus Geno Smith, maybe this does not matter whatsoever. But the optics of signing Geno Smith is something I can't get over. Where you let Sam Darnold walk out the door last offseason. He joined the Seattle Seahawks, where the Seattle Seahawks, a couple weeks prior, traded Geno Smith for a 3rd-round pick. So the team that got rid of their quarterback took your quarterback and won the Super Bowl. You're going to go sign the quarterback that team let go of 3 months before they signed your former guy. Maybe that doesn't matter, but I just think optically that would be a terrible look for the Minnesota Vikings, where it's like, oh, Sam Darnold's with the Seahawks now. Now we got the guy who replaced here in Minnesota trying to revamp his career. And also Kyler's 28 years old. Geno's 33. I would take a chance on the younger guy, and I understand the maturity questions around Kyler Murray. He's more grown now. I would be banking on the guy growing up. I mean, the difference, for your older Vikings fans, the difference between you when you were 28 compared to when you were 22 years old is probably night and day. And I would like the Vikings getting a Kyler Murray that's pissed off, that was just cut by a terrible organization, the Cardinals, who wants to turn it around. And Kyler actually tweeted this out saying, "To everyone that supported me and showed kindness to my family and I during my time in Arizona, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I wanted nothing more than to be the one to end the 77-year drought for this organization. I'm sorry I failed us. I wish this community and my brothers nothing but the best. I am no stranger to adversity. I am prepared for whatever's next. I trust in God and my work ethic. I truly believe my best ball is out in front of me, and I look forward to proving it." I agree with you, Kyler. Come on down to Minnesota. We would love to have you. Your hometown or your childhood favorite team. It just makes a lot of sense. And, hey, Kyler, you get to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson. You get to throw the ball to Jordan Addison. And you got a defense where they could tell you every single week, hey, you get to 24 points with those guys, we're going to win a lot of football games. That's a great pitch to quarterbacks. Where no matter what you think about the Vikings offensive line, or even if you have questions of the head coach, Kevin O'Connell, and his scheme, the best pitch you can make to these quarterbacks, you get us to 21 points every week, we're going to win a lot of football games because you do have one of the best defenses in the National Football League with Brian Flores returning. So I'm all in on Kyler Murray. Appreciate for you guys tuning in. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.